everyone, good morning. I'm currently standing near the number 1 bridge in London. It's London Bridge. It's so famous and beautiful. I'm now standing on this bridge, so you may not be able to see the full picture of it. Today's topic is in remembrance of Mao's family. As one of the previous top and model families in China, I appreciate the opportunity to become their non-biological relative and learn from their goodness. Meanwhile, I have consistently observed that the original Mao's family members do not act like current masked version of Mao's family members in fundamental ways over the past 36 years. I would not have fallen into today's situation of homelessness, job deprivation, and deadly targeting if anyone in Mao's family was still alive. Also, the terrorists stole my backpack and luggage multiple times in London, which shows that they deliberately wanted to destroy all the photos I carefully collected, especially Mao's family photos, including almost all the family members in Mao's original family. In today's episode, first I want to introduce my grandpa and grandma in Mao's family. My grandpa's name is Xinjun Mao, and my grandma's name is Su Yuntang. They both came from Henan province. They experienced the paralysis and stroke and cerebral thrombosis situation before their deaths when I was a primary school student between 1992 to 1998. They have 5 children, including 3 sons and 2 daughters. My eldest uncle, he is the leading person of Mao's family. His name is Chunmi Mao. He married his classmate from Xidian University. His spouse's name is Da Yu Wu. They studied wellness engineering, and they graduated from the same major. They had 2 daughters. The older one is Ya Mao. The younger one is Ting Ting Mao. So about my oldest uncle, Chunmi Mao, actually, I could still remember one of his behavior change in 2004. In that year, I was a freshman on campus. The day I moved to the female dormitory, I saw my oldest uncle Chunmi and my stepfather work together to install a Singwell style alarm across the windows in my female dormitory. I don't know what the purpose of installing such an alarm in my dormitory. that day, I saw Cun Ming was extremely exciting and happy. That facial expression was so unfamiliar to me. I never saw him had such a facial expression and emotion and behavior like that. And I felt like I didn't know him. It's like I never knew that person. And after they installed the alarm, I started experiencing the brutal brake control experiments when I was staying in my dormitory, where another 3 ladies from China, we share the same room. So 4 females live in one room and with toilets. So from 2004, I saw the dramatic change of my oldest uncle Cun Ming. So I doubted he might be murdered before 2004. And next I would talk about his second daughter, Ting Ting Mao. She is one of the most excellent and extremely intelligent ladies I had ever saw in my life. And he has always been the top student wherever she was. After she graduated from Peking University with her master's degree, she successfully got her PhD offer at MIT. In 2006 or 2007, wintertime, I attended an English training on TOEFL taught by New Oriental School teachers. I remember one day, one of the teachers, his name is Mr. Lian Ye. He once reminded the whole class about not living in the female dormitory, especially sharing the room with other ladies. He kept mentioning that living or sleeping with other ladies in the same room might be quite dangerous. I don't know what he wanted to convey, because at that time he stared at me with quite a long time, with stern looking. I was thinking if he reminded me of not living on campus dormitory, but I still could not understand why he reminded me in that way until recently. I recalled in 2006 and 2007, my cousin Ting Ting Mao was a PhD student at MIT, pursuing her PhD degree. So maybe that teacher from New Oriental School, he heard from his previous student who also students at MIT about Ting Ting's death and the stories related to how and why and what happened about Ting Ting and why she was murdered in a brutal way. And in 2015 and 2016, it was my first time to go abroad after I received my first PhD offer from Stevens Institute of Technology in Hoboken, New Jersey. Before I went there, I accidentally did a Google search, and I found that Ting Ting was married and lived with her husband and several children in Hoboken as well. I found it's quite interesting that I might be able to see her and live not far away from them. But unfortunately, in 2015 and 2016, I met Ting Ting in Hoboken several times in person on the street. Unfortunately, he didn't even say hello to me. He saw me with cold looking. And it seems like she wanted to say something, but she actually didn't say anything. Instead, she looked at me like a stranger. I could be quite certain that Ting Ting I saw actually lived at her apartment in Hoboken. She should be my cousin, but why she looked at me in such a strange way, like we never knew each other before? So in 2015 and 2016, after I experienced 2 or 3 times face-to-face encountering with her, I made my mind that I would never contact her anymore. So that's why, even when I was living in the United States for 7 or 8 years, I never contacted Ting Ting for even one time. So from those incidents, I had the epiphany that Ting Ting might no longer be the original Ting Ting Mao. But so recently I suddenly realized she might be murdered in 2006 or early 2007 in a brutal way at MIT female dormitory. I don't know what happened to her, but I want to always remember her goodness and excellence as a female and my cousin. And my another cousin, Ya Mao, gave birth to Xin Yushi in 2007 or 2008 when I was an undergraduate. And when I was a student at Wuhan University of Technology, Huasha College, as an undergraduate in mechanical engineering. Actually, that department is, my major is mechanical design, manufacturing, and automation. And Ya Mao taught me 1 or 2 classes because at that time she was assistant professor at Wuhan University of Technology in mechanical and electronic school. Ya Mao married her college classmate, Miss Wei Shi, and they all got their college bachelor's degree in mechanical engineering from the same university. And Ya Mao's husband was a senior engineer or expert in automotive industry. About several years ago, I heard from my stepmom that Ting Ting didn't want Xin Yushi to study in the US. So Xin was admitted to an international collaboration program which required her to attend 1 or 2 year study in France and another 1 or 2 year study in China. About 2 to 3 weeks ago, I saw 2 posters hanging outside a bookstore in London, in central London, near UCL. By reading the cartoon on those 2 posters, I could deduce that Xin Yushi might be murdered in France. I felt extremely sad. At that moment, I realized Xin Yu's mom, my cousin Ya Mao, and Wei Shi might be murdered before this year. But I don't know when they actually been murdered. My second oldest uncle, Cun Jian's family, was originally in Suizhou, Hubei province. They insisted to move to Wuhan and finally moved to Wuhan before 2008. And in January or February 2008, as I mentioned previously, I contracted the Havana syndrome, the brain injuries. I still remember Cun Jian and his wife visited me, and I could clearly remember he said something weird to me and my step-parents. Do not worry too much. Our social welfare system could help Wan Jun. After I heard his saying, I found this answer seems quite abnormal. Because from my previous understanding between the relation with me and Cun Jian, my second oldest uncle, I found his words previously, before 2008, was quite warm, kind, and he never talked things in such a cold way. So I doubted that my second uncle and his wife, and even their daughter Ying Mao, might be murdered before 2008. Cun Jian, my second oldest uncle, was a mechanical engineer who worked in a factory in Suizhou, and he became a management level position before he resigned and moved to Wuhan. And also, regarding Cun Jian's daughter, my another cousin, Ying Mao, I met her in 2017 before I traveled to LSU for my second PhD opportunity. To my surprise, we talked during the lunchtime with other family members. She seemed that she was not interested in my future plan and my PhD life in the US, and felt that she looked like an unfamiliar person to me. So I doubted that, as I mentioned, she might be either murdered before 2017 or even earlier, before 2008. And I have one aunt, and that aunt was killed due to cancer, and I never saw her in person because she died before my birth. And her only daughter, Shi Lei Zhao, was my another cousin who she was an intelligent, and extremely helpful lady. Between the year of 1992 and 2001, she once cordially reminded me of leaving my step-parents as soon as possible, but she did not explain why. And when I told my step-parents about Shilei's advice to let me leave them or my family, my step-parents expressed intense or extreme anger. And also, my step-parents cautioned me that stop contacting or reduce contacting with Shilei and other family members in Mao's family. In the January or February 2008, after I contracted brain injuries, Shilei invited me to stay at her place for several days. I recall that she once coldly said to me in an elevator in a large shopping mall in Wuhan. She said, "Your ambitions to take graduate school entrance exam is sky high, or it's like shooting a star." I was quite surprised that Shilei laughed at me in such a way that after I failed that graduate school entrance exam in 2008 due to brain injuries, which might indicate Shilei was killed before 2008. And next, I would discuss my youngest uncle's family, Xiao Wu's family. When I was a primary school or middle school student, once my stepmom took me to Xiao Wu's family, and one day Xiao Wu, my youngest uncle, suddenly expressed a prophecy that each generation of our mouse family is inferior to the previous one. I found that it was extremely strange to hear his saying. His son, De Sheng, was the second youngest in my generation, and I was the youngest. I was thinking if Xiao Wu, using this sentence to curse his son or me, I had no idea. I feel confused as well. Does that mean that my youngest uncle, Xiao Wu, was murdered before 2001 or earlier? When I was a primary school and middle school student, I visited Xiao Wu's son, De Sheng, quite often with my stepmom. Each time, my stepmom would purchase salted and roasted duck and bring it to De Sheng as a gift. De Sheng was the only male in my generation in Mao's family. He was born in 1984, 2 years older than me. He liked playing with various kinds of transformers with different sizes. For the small sizes, it is smaller than a kid's hand. The large sizes can be a little bit larger than the size of an A4 paper. He liked singing a song called "The East is Red." He deliberately pronounced Mao Zedong as Mao Zadong to mock Hunan dialect on purpose. His family spent a lot of money to let him go into a top-ranking middle school in 1996. Unfortunately, he spent too much time in computer games and dropped to low-ranking high school in 1999. He pursued a nursing associate degree from 2002. He found a nurse job in a psychiatry hospital after graduation. Actually, when I heard that he did a nursing associate degree, I was shocking because from my understanding, most of the males, if they like Transformers, they would not choose the major like nursing. From my observation, from 2005 to 2008, I experienced a lot of human relation issues in my previous on-campus dormitory when I was an undergraduate. I called De Sheng by phone or chatted online with him. His advice about my relations with my roommates, he gave me advice about how to deal with my relations with my roommates. But the advice he gave me looked like quite weird and expressed in cold ways. He even showed positive attitude to my evil classmate who did bad things to me. I don't know why he became quite indifferent and alienated from me since 2004. Maybe he was killed before 2004. And actually at this moment I want to conclude my video recording for today. And the story I summarized are from my memories. They are real life stories. None of them is fabricated. Okay, I want to say I would always appreciate each member in Mao's family's support in the past. I would always keep them in my prayers wherever they are. May God bless them and rest their souls in peace. Amen. Thank you for watching, my dear audience. May God bless you all. Thanks.